All right, KISS Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 380 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, admin on the message board. Today I've got Lonnie, St. Louis Kiss.
Hello.
Who day? What happened today?
Oh, it was not good on Sunday. I'm in a much better place than I was on Sunday night. It was not good Sunday night.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you've recovered. Tampa had a pretty shitty day too. So
they lost. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Let's leave that one there. Ken, 69th Blizzard, voice of reason, of course.
Hello.
Did you? And I don't know if anyone cares. Buster Posey just retired.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I heard that.
Well, he's going out
sad.
on a high point, 107 wins, and the Braves win. All right, congratulations, Atlanta. All right, so our show today, we're going to go through from the armchair, from the peanut gallery, the grumpy old men on the Muppet Show, and do our review of the songs performed on the KISS Cruise. KISS Cruise 10, of course, concluded 2 days ago, so most folk are back home. You're starting to see a plethora of video uploads hitting YouTube. I want to give a big shout out to people like Joe, Mike Brunn, other Mike, people who've been putting video up on YouTube during the freaking cruise, and some of them live streaming these events as well. I want to thank you for sharing with us who weren't there all that great content, regardless of how we analyze these sets today as people who weren't even there. It's a vastly different experience to be standing on the poop deck for a sail away show, whether it's acoustic, whether it's electric, whether it's whatever, and then being in the audience at either of those theater shows. And having gone on the cruise, I will say, and Lonnie, obviously you did as well, it's more than just the music when you go on the cruise. It's the people, it's the activity, it's the vibe, it's the bacon. The KISS Cruise is more than just the shows, but the shows themselves are fantastic. Bruce, we'll talk about. I haven't seen anything of Black and Blues yet, and they played 3 times, so I want to see some of that. I want to see some of the Queensryche stuff as well, and of course the Talisman, because there were a lot of bands. Kaleido, that was a powerful female vocalist fronting them, who I believe was on Ace's Anomaly album in 2009 with Monique, the 2 kid voices. So let's jump straight in. First of all, let's just go around. What was the show that wins it for you for this cruise? What is the standout? And then we're going to go by through each one of the primary performances. Lonnie?
For me, I guess it's the first night that Bruce played. Bruce, to me, has just stolen the show the last few years that he's done the cruise. Just continuing to wave the banner for his era of the band, and for his brother's era of the band too, with stuff off of Paul's solo album and Alive too. Bruce just amazes me with the stuff that he pulls out. I mean, and not to take anything away from the first electric show that KISS played, because we'll get into that as well. But the stuff Bruce has done continues just to blow my mind every time I see those set lists come across.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Ken, what about you? Any of these particular sets jump out at you as a clear winner for your tastes?
I mean, I like both. I do like the Kulick stuff. I mean, I thought that was really good. I watched a whole bunch of that. But it's always, great watching KISS live, and when they pull out some of the songs we never or rarely hear or never have heard live, that's pretty exciting. Even though maybe it's just like a few songs like that, it's really exciting to see them play those songs, and it's like, this is and they sound, well, for the most part, most of them sounded really darn good still. So
yeah, we'll get into the details on some of the specifics of the songs. I mean, when I saw the first set list basically come in, and I saw people watching the Sail Away show, I was like, damn, I took the refund. And then when they went indoors, KISS, that is, for the first show, I was like, I took the refund. And then I was like, oh wait, I probably would have ended up at the second show. Okay, I'm cool. I got the refund, and then I saw Paul's guitar design because I had ordered that as well as the first order of the Paul custom guitar with the cruise artwork, I believe. I took the refund on that, and it looks great again, so kudos to the team for doing that. But Bruce, as you've both said, is carrying the banner, and he's extended that banner now to include Vinny, since Vinny's not exactly out there,
Right.
playing music for people to hear outside of those who attend his events. So obviously kicking off his 2 sets with Exciter was just a nice way for him to embrace. He said, I'm going to carry the banner now, just not for my own era, but for the un-makeup era, the unmasked era. So kudos to Bruce for that. Let's start with the Sail Away show. That was the first musical event on the cruise, I believe, on the 29th of October. My initial impression of that was, wow, it's down to 12 songs. That seemed really
It's
short.
getting smaller. Right?
But
Yeah.
and it also wasn't acoustic. It was originally scheduled to be in the acoustic format, but they went ahead and did electric. So I did see Gene with acoustic basses, so I don't know what the deal is with that and why that was switched over. But a very short set in some ways. But I thought it was also a great set. Again, these are songs, with the exceptions of Tears Are Falling and Heaven's on Fire, that you're not hearing during the current, and Calling Dr. Love, that you're not really hearing on the current tour. I haven't heard in a while, so I think from that perspective, it's a great selection of stuff. And you know what? I think we can forgive them performing "Tears Are Falling" and "Heavens of Fire" because Bruce joined them. So,
Correct.
Lonnie, what were some of the high points and low points for that Sail Away show for you?
Well, the low point for me was the 12 songs. I was when I saw that, I was really kind of taken back that they only played 12 songs. It made me go back to look at the set list of the cruise that I went on. They played like 20 plus songs for their Sail Away that night. I was like, I would have been really disappointed. I would have been disappointed with the shortened set list of only 12 songs. But you look at them, and it is Going Blind and Plastercaster and Love Her All I Can. I mean, that's great. And then seeing Bruce up and having Bruce come up there and do 2 songs, with them, and a 5-man Kiss. That's pretty rare and pretty cool. That's a real treat for the people that got to go on it, to see him up there with the band. That's something we talked about when they announced End of the Road tour, that will they have guest appearances, and we haven't up until now, especially even in the arena shows. But this is what we had talked about, what a special guest appearance would look like, is a Bruce Kulick coming up and doing Heaven's on Fire, Tears Are Falling, something from his era. Still hopeful that we get something like that in our arena, type format, but. The set list is good. There's some standards in there that maybe I don't need to hear on the cruise, like Calling Dr. Love, and to an extent shocked me. I don't know if I really need to hear that on the cruise. Pull out something just not really deep into the bag, but just a little deeper in the bag than those 2 songs. But for the most part, for the songs themselves, not a big complaint. It's just the shortness of it.
I don't recall. I know you've mentioned it previously, but was your Sail Away show electric or acoustic? You were what?
It was
Cruise
acoustic.
3?
2, and it was acoustic.
Yeah. So first 4 were all acoustic. So, kind of neat on that. But Ken, opening up with Going Blind. I mean, what's the voice of reason got to say about this Sail Away set?
Yeah, well, it's a good set. Again, like Lonnie said, and it's a short set. And I guess he had, like you said, 20 plus songs when he saw it, back a long time ago. And maybe, back then they were winging it a little bit more, and they probably did some songs like halfway through and stuff like that, which is kind of goes back to the KISS conventions. That's how those were. They had certain songs they would go all the way through. Then there's other songs they would, attempt to go all the way through, or they get only a little part of the way through, and then they'd have to, quit and go on to another one. But so I think it's today they figured out, let's just do, make it more structured, and that's what they're doing here. Though, I'm thinking they could have done, at least a few more songs, maybe put up to 15. But yeah, Going Blind, one of my favorites. And they did a lot of great songs that I like, like Plaster Caster and so on. Love Rock Can's a really great song. I think we talked about Christine 16 like a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. I don't know. I mentioned that they should bring that thing back. So yeah, it's a good little set. It was enjoyable, watching it on the video. So other than it again being short and they could have put a few more in there. Otherwise, it was really good.
Yeah, that was a massive sacrifice, Joe. Streaming that live, thank you again.
Really cool.
Because you actually stood there during your cruise, streaming it for people like us. So I want to run through some stats on this. So Going Blind, obviously, that's a wild opening. And I was like, what are they doing? Did he start the stream late? And only later on I went back and listened to it. And, no coming home. I was like, I thought that was the theme of the cruise. What's wrong with you people? But Going Blind, really. They changed it up. When's the last time KISS opened a set with Going Blind?
Never.
Yeah, probably Rainbow Days, one of those few performances. Yeah, so that one's... I did a little bit of math on this for the discussion. For the 10 KISS cruises, there have been 30 KISS performances, whether it's acoustic, electric, in the theater and whatnot. So I wanted to see how rare are some of these songs. Going Blind has been performed 10 times out of those 30 possible maximum slots. So that puts it in the lower half in terms of rarity, which is good. Plaster Caster, 9 out of 30. So I thought that was more common. I was wrong. It's not a very common song when it comes to the cruise. Got to Choose, which I love. I will never complain about that. 13 out of 30 times. So that's middle of the road. Love Her All I Can, 12 out of 30. Middle of the road. Shock Me is rare, and it should be even rarer because it shouldn't be performed. 7 out of 30. Christine 16, 11 out of 30. Middle of the road again. So Tears Are Falling. Oh, it's only its second time on the cruise, but it's on the End of the Road tour, so that says no. But it's got Bruce, so yay. Right, there we go. Flip-flop, flip-flop. And same for Heaven's on Fire. That's been performed 5 times previously. A World Without Heroes. This one shocked me. 6 out of 30 times.
Really?
It was
would
done
have
more
said
than
that A World Without Heroes would be way more common, but it's usually been in the acoustic sets, which have been more rare.
Sure.
Hotter Than Hell, 16. That's probably the most common song they performed in that set, which, when we're thinking about End of the Road, wow. I think a lot of people were happy to hear that electrically. That's something that changed things up. Calling Dr. Love, 8 out of 30. That's just a throwaway to fill it in with it being on the End of the Road. And She, 11 out of 30 possible performances. So I think from that perspective, it's a pretty darn good mix. I would probably have not been very happy while standing there had I been, I've heard that before. I'd be like one of those grumpy old Muppet men. But then after looking at the numbers, which tells me, well, this is the cruise. I'm with a diehard bunch of lunatics on a boat heading out to sea, and the bar is full, and I can't drink. It would have been, I would have been happy with that. So, watch the shows as better copies of it come out on YouTube now that people are back on land. Let's shift straight over to night 2 of the cruise, and this is Bruce Kulick's first set. Lonnie, back to you for your thoughts overall on that set. Now, I haven't done any stats for how often any of those other songs have been performed by him because he's Bruce.
My thoughts on that, I was taken back by what he did. I was like, wow, it's really, really crazy. Like you guys, we mentioned at the top of the show with him opening with Exciter. He not only carrying the flag for his era of the band, but just carrying the flag just for the forgotten era of the band in general, opening with Exciter, doing a tribute to Eric Carr in the middle of it with Eyes of Love. Like, holy shit. Are you serious? And then, and Little Caesar and Can You Feel It? Like, real nice tribute to Eric. Again, the forgotten era of KISS. And then with the medley of Nowhere to Run, Tonight You Belong to Me, Naked City, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, and I'm a Legend Tonight. Holy crap. Talk about, Bob's era of KISS, and then, just Bob's era of KISS and Naked City. I mean, just the forgotten era of KISS with the Unmasked album. I thought it was fantastic. And Dreamin' being in there too. Bruce, had a lot to do with Psycho Circus, so why not throw that in there? It's a good song for him to do too. So I really, really fantastic. And the medley with the Asylum medley, Julian, you had to have been happy with too. It Secretly Crew, All Night, and Trial by Fire. Songs you wouldn't even dream about hearing. No pun intended on the cruise. So absolutely fantastic. Fantastic all the way.
Yeah. All three of Bob's songs from Alive 2 are represented. I loved how Eyes of Love and Can You Feel It, because I just didn't see those coming. I was absolutely shocked that those were done, and also All Hell's Breaking Loose. Again, Eric wrote it, nice tribute to him, but again, it's stepping outside his era of the band, and not only paying homage to Eric, but to the Unmasked era of band. Yeah, you're right, Lonnie. That Asylum medley, yeah, I was happy. I approve. But I also like that he did Dreaming. Of course, Bob did play with Alice, who did I'm 18, who...
And all kind of ties together.
Yeah, it comes back, and I think he mentioned something about he did do some bass on that album. I don't think he did any lead guitar. So, whatever. If Bruce wants to play, Tommy's Out of This World, because he likes it, he's Bruce, so we'll give him a lot of latitude. Unholy. Again, you've got Bruce. I never saw that tour, so anytime I see Bruce doing revenge stuff or stuff from the albums that I was a fan of, it's a win. So, Ken, what's your take on first night of Bruce?
Yeah, very interesting first night. I agree. The Eric Carr medley was really, really surprising. And it was very good. That was a cool thing they did there. And then they covered did Asylum medley, which is nice. Cover that. And I was glad to see Exciter. I mean, I love Exciter, so I was like, wow, that's a great opener. It's a great album opener, but a great concert opener too. And then Unholy, and yes, representing side 2 of Alive 2, or side 4, that is, of Alive 2, with, surprisingly did even Rockin' in the USA, which is a crazy surprise. But definitely Larger Than Life, All American Man, great stuff. And then the other ones with the Nowhere to Run, like Lonnie said, that's just all good stuff. I haven't been able to see all of them yet. I've seen the Eric Carr medley and this and that, Exciter, I saw that. But I haven't seen, there's so much out there right now. I've been picking and choosing certain songs, this or that, like a song like Spit, which is in the next night and we'll get to, I guess. But everything I've seen is fantastic, and they play great. They play so great, like they've been playing these songs forever. So
they were very, very well rehearsed. They had everything down pat. They were ready to go. They were ready to rock the boat. And Nowhere to Run and Naked City. I mean, Bob Kulick co-wrote Naked City, so he was one of the co-writers. So nice again to put a rare and unusual song. And Bruce is really keeping things fresh with these. I want to go back, and I'm going to have to do a set list analysis of all his cruise-related performances just to see and represent how much of the catalog he's actually going through, because I think it's impressive, and I want the facts to back me up on the FAQ. All right, Lonnie, let's go indoors for KISS show number 1, and later on remind me that we should talk about which of these 2 KISS indoor shows we would have preferred to have been on had we been on the cruise ourselves. So, Lonnie, give us your rundown of night 1.
Well, night 1 kicks off with Psycho Circus, as we all anticipated it would, being the theme of the cruise. Like, okay, fine. I don't necessarily need to hear it. They played Psycho Circus a lot in the last several years. The cruise I was on, they opened with Psycho Circus in the theater. And at the time, I thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. They haven't played that. This is 2012. They haven't played that probably since 2004 on Rock the Nation. So at the time, I was like, oh, wow, we're pulling that out. That's pretty cool, But we've played Psycho Circus since that cruise. They've played Psycho Circus a lot, and I get it. It's the theme of the cruise. Fine, all right, we'll leave that one go. But then they go into the opening chord to Take It Off. I would have had
You
need to
fainted,
change
right?
pants. I would have absolutely lost it as soon as those opening chords hit, because I would have known exactly what it was. And that's amazing that they did that. And it was actually, and Paul sounds good on that. There's more of a speaking type vocal. He doesn't do all the frills that it has on the album, but he does a very good job with it. And it actually sounds really good for the way it was done. So it sounded fantastic actually. And just I don't know if I really would have cared in the moment how it sounded. Just the fact that they were doing Take It Off, I would have lost my shit. And then there's some good ones in there with Watching You's great. I love that song, and it's deep, but it's not too deep. You know, the diehards know it. Most people know it, and that's great. You know, they maybe don't always get away with playing that in an arena, but you know, we can pull out Watching You for the cruise. It's great. Firehouse, okay, it's fine. But then She's So European. Seriously? You want now, and we'll get into this with them, and I'll get into this, and we'll get into this later, I'm sure, with the changes from night one to night two. But you can watch the audience in some of these songs, and they're kind of dead. And they're kind of dead during She's So European if you watch them the audience, which is kind of disappointing. And I think that's why they didn't play it the next night. But then Look It Up. I don't need to hear Look It Up on the cruise. If I'm on the cruise, I don't even know if I need to hear it in an arena anymore. But then We Are One, the crowd was dead during We Are One. If you watch that video, in my opinion, I thought the crowd was dead during We Are One. Cold Gin, all right, that's fine. I really need to hear it on the cruise. But then All Night, first time live since 1986. You pull that out, that's badass. And then after that, it kind of gets, we're back into the end of the road tour set list after that, and we kind of mail it in. After that, with I Love It Loud, Say Yeah, War Machine, Black Diamond, Detroit Rock City, Rock and Roll Night, kind of mailed in for the last 6 songs. But the first half of it, pretty damn cool. And Julian's right, we're grumpy old men sitting here bitching about, you know, something we paid $0 for. So
Actually, we're not bitching about it. We're just commenting on it, you know, with facts and opinion. We're not. No one's bitching here.
No, I think it's kind of mailing it in and kind of lazy the last 6 songs of the set list, though. When you started off really strong, then you just kind of like, end of the road, let's go, and off we go to the end. So, but very, very cool. Throwing out She's So European, Take It Off, We Are One, and Watching You. You know, well, that's really some really great gems are thrown out for these people that are really paying a lot of money to be there. And playing those rare songs, because that's what the cruise was billed is to be all about, you know. And you're playing some rare gems. So the first half of that set list is really, really great.
So my guest on part 2 of this podcast episode, who attended the cruise, he was on his first cruise. He was assigned show number 1. He gets there. He asked Sixthman if he could upgrade his seat. They said sure, so they put him in another seat closer. And then the guy who had that ticket showed up for that seat. So he went back to them and said, "Hey, you've double, put us in the same seat. Can you do something?" He was afraid he was going to end up at the back. They put him in the pit.
Nice.
First time cruiser ends up in the pit for this show.
Nice.
So, and someone else has posted on the board this afternoon that they were on the cruise as well, and from his cabin he could hear, I assume it's a he, pardon me, could hear them rehearsing She's So European and some of these songs. So they did work on it prior to the show as well. So Ken, what's your take on this?
Yeah. It's a cool set. Between this set and then the next night's set, there's a little give and take, little slight changes here and there. I like them both in their own way. I do agree, though, even though I like She's So European, it kind of just changed the whole tone. It's just a different type song than the groove of the other songs that they play. So, yeah, there was kind of a mellower, it's not a headbanger kind of thing. so it's mellower. Same goes with We Are One. You know, it's more poppy kind of stuff, and that's the crowd is kind of in that. Well, I think they enjoyed. They were happy that obviously that that they pulled those songs out. And Firehouse, I love Firehouse. Anytime they play that, I've always liked that song. And like Lonnie said, Take It Off was a big surprise. I got to see that live, of course, way back. But yeah,
look at you.
That's sorry. I just had to throw it in there. But anyway, but watching you, I love that song, and Gene did a great job, and he did the scream on that, which I was like, oh, is he gonna? I thought he's not gonna do it, and he did it. I was like, oh, all right, it was awesome. So yeah, great set of great set. Yeah, they could have gone away from those last 6 or 7 songs that kind of are all end of the road stuff. They could have maybe inserted other songs here and there, maybe alternated, maybe split played maybe 3 different songs in that last group, but whatever. It was still pretty good.
Yeah, so I'd like to give another shout out to Death's Chicken, who was updating during the show the set list that both Jason Kiss My Wax and I were putting on our sites respectively for other people to enjoy. Thank you for for the information from the cruise while you're watching the show, or again, very much appreciated. So we've said this point before. We're supposed to love these songs. But on this set, Lonnie nailed it. Pacing, especially in the second half of the set, where it's all stuff that's being done on the KISS Cruise. Yeah. I'm sorry, on End of the Road. So it's too common, even for the KISS Cruise. Say, yeah, Paul Stanley has decided that is a classic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, rock and roll all night, none of us are going to complain about, because that's just going to get played.
Obviously.
And that's perfectly fine. But Detroit, Black Diamond, War Machine, Say Yeah, I Love It Loud, Cold Gin, Lick It Up. For fuck's sake. That's all currently on tour. There's nothing special or exceptional about that. Yeah, sprinkle in a few standards, because no one expects you to do 15 complete obscurities. That's just not realistic expectations. Sure. But it felt that the balance was off. Opening with Psycho Circus, fine, great. Again, Lonnie said it. It's the theme of the cruise. Take It Off. I would have had the same response as Lonnie. That's 2 times out of 30 possible maximum performances. It was done at most shows. I've just ruined the second show for you, if you were wondering. It hasn't been done since 1995. That is a win, but
that's what I'm talking about.
Where the hell was Bruce Kulick? Why was he not invited up on stage? That I know they had him out for the sail away, but this is revenge era, and it just felt like one of those opportunities with them in makeup to have a non-original member join them. It would have been that moment. But it's neither here nor there, because again, it's so great to see that back in the set that it was an absolute win. You both nailed it on Watching You. Totally agree. I would have been thrilled with Watching You. May not have been Deuce, but you know what? I get to shut up sometimes. Take it. She's So European. Yeah, I would have absolutely dropped. I think the dead crowd point that Ken makes would not have been the case had it been an international cruise. And if you'd had the South Americans there, it's going to be crazy no matter what. That is just DNA. If you'd had the Europeans there, more of them, and some of them did make it through border, and to be able to attend. But I think if it had been a more representative crowd and the Aussies, sorry, I nearly forgot you lot as well. If you'd had the full family together, then all those crazy uncles and aunts would have been going nuts with She's So European, and the Americans, or maybe the crowd, the majority of the crowd who were there, would have gotten a natural high and gotten with it. And again, it's one of those things that I think was affected by how this cruise was by necessity. We Are One. Wow. I would have flipped out at that. I would have been thrilled to hear it. I would have had the same opinion there as I have now, that I think that is a better song for an acoustic format, and hopefully that will get that treatment, that they'll see a positive response to it and say it's actually a nice song to do. It is a very good song, and it's a very one of those cheesy kissy songs, kumbaya Kiss style. So all night again, I would have had Kittens, but Bruce did it the night before, so you got his guitar. They did it that night. They did a good job of it. Again, an opportunity for an unoriginal member to join them in makeup, or them in makeup. I'm not suggesting Bruce put on any. But overall, I think the 4 rare songs make it a great set, make it interesting. So, bit weird. Staging. Lonnie, what did you think about the stage?
Kind of bland, nothing. It didn't like shock me or anything like that. I mean, it was fine, but I mean, I thought maybe it would have more of a Psycho Circus type feel to it than what it did.
Not even any curtains, like
right. That's the theme of the of the cruise. I thought we would have more of the curtains type deal, and playing We Are One. Well, that's cool because it's a Psycho Circus type cruise, but I thought maybe we'd pull out something else from Psycho Circus too, even, but that's fine.
God, they didn't pull out Within.
No, thank God they didn't pull out Within or anything like that, or You Wanted the Best or some nonsense like that. But the stage, no, very bland. I thought it'd have more of a Psycho Circus type feel to it. And it was just kind of there. It wasn't anything to get excited about.
Yeah, theme and name only. Ken.
Yeah, I didn't, how bad it was. The stage was. Is I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
There was. It just is nothing there to catch my eye. Honestly, like the tank or something like that. When they did that mini tank thing, and
that was cool,
and so on. Yeah. And just going back to the list here, the set. I mean, it's sequencing too could have improved some of those mellower points, putting them in a different area, or putting the Psycho Circus together. Just put those 2 songs together in a row and just get it over with. Like, okay, we're going to do the Psycho Circus. Here it is, and then go on. But I don't know how much it helped really, because those are songs that are just so different. But the stage again. Yeah. They really missed the boat on that one. So.
Yeah, maybe some of that's been impacted by supply chain issues as well. So it is what it is. I got the
Psycho Circus curtain stuck in the middle of the ocean on whatever.
still outside of LA.
Still in transit
with all our Christmas shit. So
hasn't made it to Miami.
Yeah. I just thought the stage, whatever. But they were doing some good stuff. It got a very little taste of Wasp Electric Circus vibe on that drum riser, and that was about it. And whatever. Let's go back indoors next night. Kulick's second set, and he's graduated to the big boy room. He's playing in the same theater, the Stardust Theater. Ken, you start us off. Run through that set. I'm letting you go first because I know how much
saw
Lonnie
most of those. It was a really great set. With leading with Exciter and then Unholy, Tears Are Falling, Who Wants to Be Lonely. It just, and Thou Shalt Not, man. Always love to hear that one, and that they did that one, fantastic. I was surprised by them pulling out Radar for Love with Making Love right together. It's got interesting. It's not one of my favorite Kiss songs, Radar for Love, but hey, it's good to hear.
You were waiting for the next 2, weren't you?
Oh, well, yeah, that was even it's kind of more surprising. Let's Put the X in Sex and You Make Me Rock Hard. You Make Me Rock Hard. I'm really surprised they even did that one. I was not too, excited about that one. Let's Put the X in Sex, fine. It's okay. I don't like to hear it that much. It's kind of, it was always, cheesy back then. But, hey, it's interesting to hear them, pull it out and do it. So it was they did a great job on it. I had no problem with that. And then Domino, great. Always good to hear that one. They got Eric on the drums, so there's somebody came and played on the drums, who actually played on the drums on the album. And I haven't seen some of these other ones, like they put Jungle next, and I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't seen the video for that, but I did see the next one after that, All Hell's Breaking Loose, which was fantastic. I love that song, and they did another stellar job on that one. And I know they did Forever, Car Jam. These are ones I have not seen yet, but I'm looking forward to listening to definitely Car Jam, Paralyzed, and I Just Wanna. I mean, it's representing a lot of revenge there for Lonnie on this set list here. And I did watch the Spit video. I was like, man, that's great that they did that. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like that, but I love that song. I think it's great. And they stuck to it and did it. Great job. And surprisingly, that Bruce went right into the Star Spangled Banner. It pretty much did the whole thing, right? The whole Star Spangled Banner on that. So I saw a lot of it. It's really good. They did a great job. I think I like that set better than their first set. It's just more rocking and straight ahead,
more
and
revenge.
A lot of edgy, a lot of good stuff, real good stuff.
All right, Lonnie.
Well, can't hit it on the head with a lot of good stuff in it, because there's 7 of the 13 songs on Revenge. There's 7 of them represented in Bruce's set list, plus Star Spangled Banner from the Revenge tour.
Pretty impressive.
I mean, good Lord, he might as well just had Eric just sit up there the whole time with him. They just played the Revenge album for that matter.
Yeah.
With as much as they played it. I mean, they don't play God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which he played the night before the night before, or 2 nights before off Revenge. But playing Thou Shalt Not and Paralyzed, I Just Wanna Spit. I mean, he's just pulling them out song after song of Revenge. I don't know what I would have done.
It would have been messy.
It would have been messy. You're 100% correct. That's just fantastic. And then in the middle of it, playing Let's Put the X in Sex and You Make Me Rock Hard. I know we always make fun of those songs on the show, that they're cheesy, and yeah, they are. But just to pull those out and play those on a KISS cruise surrounded by just diehard KISS fans, like that, I mean, that's as 80s KISS as it gets, is those 2 songs. And that's what Bruce is waving the banner for. So that I think that's great too. I mean, and let's be honest, how many people bought Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits? A lot of people bought Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. And that's why they started pulling out those classic songs on the Hot in the Shade tour, because people still like our old songs. So a lot of people bought Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits, especially the people there. Mm-hmm. So why not pull out those songs? So, and then still representing his era of the band with Jungle as well.
Yeah.
That set list that second night is about as 80s, early 90s as you could possibly get. I mean, he paid his tribute to his brother the night before, paid his tribute to Eric Carr, the previous performance as well, and he's just like, all right, now it's my turn to show what my era of KISS was all about. And he just plays the classics from his era. And, man, it'll never happen because the draw for it isn't, and the demand for it isn't there. But how cool would it be to see Bruce take like that kind of show on the road? I mean, that would just be amazing. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to do it because, well, that's part of the lore. That has become part of the lore to go on the KISS cruises. You're going to get a Bruce Kulick set list like this.
Yeah. And I don't see how he tops this set. Again, I think the 7 from Revenge is a win. Absolutely, even Spit, because it's unusual, and he's just Car Jam into Paralyzed. Wow, just wow! And come on, Let's Put the X and You Make Me Rock Hard, with no synth, no softened, performed live by a band, are different creatures. Eric joining on Domino, fantastic. Eric hops up behind the kit and plays the hell out of it, gets off stage, and the band continues. No fuss. just gets up there, does his thing, does a great job. Jungle. Where else are you going to hear that unless Bruce does it? Again, 2 more songs from Asylum for me. Yeah, just wow. It just the wow factor, and closing it with what closed the, as Lonnie said, the Revenge tour. He'd always finish the sets with the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, that's just pure Hendrix. That's patriotism. That's Hendrix. That's everything. That's just fun, And it's really on a cruise that is primarily American customers. It's appropriate, and you know what? Anyone who likes KISS isn't going to be offended by it anyway, or they can walk the plank.
No.
So,
John Alive 3.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I just think his selection of songs, the little Making Love tag and Radar for Love, maybe that's a little message that it's not just Zeppelin. It's 3 more songs from Asylum that night. Maybe it's not just borrowing other things here, some other influences that Bruce sees in it. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Again, opening up with that 1-2 punch of Exciter and Unholy. Wow. One end of the Unmasked Era to the other with Jungle in there. Just Bruce. They deliver it. And that band. Brent Fitz on drums.
Great band.
Todd Kearns on, what was he playing this time? Bass. No,
like
he was
Slash's
on
band almost.
Yeah, Todd was on guitar and lead vocals, and
Brent.
Zach Throne was on bass and lead vocals as well. So he had 2 different types of voices to, help out with the Gene versus Paul material. So great. All right, Lonnie, into the second indoor KISS show.
The second indoor KISS show looks a lot like End of the Road KISS show, but I mean, a whole lot like End of the Road KISS show. So we keep Take It Off in there, which is great. I mean, I would imagine they got a great response on that song. That song stays in there, but that's the one, and they keep Watching You in there, which I think is great as well. But She's So European, We Are One, All Night, all 3 gone for the second show. Very surprising that you would work through those songs and get them ready for performance, only to play them one time and not play them for the second night. And they're replaced by All the Way, which I love All the Way. I think that's great. And Making Love, which it looks like from up in the gallery perspective that, well, we went away from the Psycho Circus and Unmasked and Asylum stuff, a little bit lesser known, no makeup stuff. Well, we're gonna replace them with Making Love and All the Way, stuff off those original core 6 albums, just playing it safe more than anything else. And let me go rock and roll again. Original core album, playing it safe is one of the replacement songs that night too. I would have been disappointed. When I went on my cruise, people said, "Oh, go to the," and I've heard people since then say, "Oh, go to the second night. Go to the second night. They're more loose on the second night, and they try just different things on the second night. They're a little more loose, and you usually get a better set." That was not the case this time. Well, they've done All the Way on the cruise before, and I like All the Way. Don't get me wrong. But outside of Taking Off and All the Way and Watching You, it's End of the Road set list, isn't it, guys?
At least it wasn't the rehearsal.
That's what Julian got.
Yeah, so I agree and disagree. I'm really glad that they kept Take It Off. I think that's a winner. Without a doubt, I think it was also one of the best performed of those 4 songs that they did the first night. She's So European was pretty dodgy, to be perfectly honest, in parts.
Yeah.
Gene it seems he can't quite get his tongue around those lyrics. and coming in all in the wrong places several times, and maybe they just felt we want to have a better quality song in there. All the way, I would have been happy with that. 8 out of 30 performances on the cruise. It's not as common as it seems, and I think going back to Hotter Than Hell and a couple of songs from Hotter Than Hell. Ultimately, if we go back to the point of we're all KISS fans who are supposed to love these songs, who wouldn't be thrilled to hear Let Me Go Rock and Roll? I certainly would. But in comparing it to the night before, I would be saying that's not a deep cut in comparison. Well, Let Me Go has only been done 6 times on the KISS cruise previously. So on the cruise, it technically
but it's done a lot in
is,
arenas.
but it's still been done a lot over the past 20 years.
Tours, yeah.
During regular tours, and a lot of people who go on the cruise will have attended also. Watching You, glad that stayed. Firehouse, glad that stayed, to be honest. Making Love, my notes here say congratulations in the age of cancel. KISS has given a finger, like the Statue of Liberty on the Revenge Tour, to cancel culture by performing both Christine 16 and Making Love, 2 songs in the catalog that have been called out for inappropriate lyrics. And you know what? Hoorah!
Who cares?
They're great songs.
Good for them.
Great. So I always loved Making Love. That was one of the songs on Rock and Roll Over that I just found absolutely flawless for the attitude and performance. So I dig it. I'd be happy. Like I said, I dig all the way. But the rest of it is just phoned in again. It's all end of the road. So while I do like those songs, War Machine, Lick It Up, please no more. Let's ask the question: night 1 or night 2? I think Lonnie made it pretty clear. KISS, night 1. Ken.
Yeah, one. I mean, I have to agree that there's a lot of. Let Me Go, like you said, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I mean, it's not played currently on this last go round right now, I think. But it's been played on every tour. And then said last 10 years, I think, or more. I don't know. I have to go back and look, but it's been played and played and played. But yeah, watching you talked about watching you and all the way. Those are just fantastic songs that I always love. So I'm not mad about that. Making Love. Yeah, I mean, they hardly do that ever anywhere. So I'm glad to see that something off of Rock and Roll Over, getting in there, and that's, I think that's the only song that got on there for Rock and Roll Over, at least on that night. So yeah, and Firehouse, can't go wrong, classic, love it from the first album. So, but again, yeah, the first night is a little bit more. I don't know, I'd say risky, or not risky, but exploring the old stuff a little bit more, and just going and doing it and trying to give the crowd, the KISS fans, something that they've never heard before live. So yeah, it's a little bit better first night.
Yeah, it's more in keeping with the purpose of the cruise, which Paul Stanley has said on stage, and you can go back and watch some of the old, cruise videos, which are all up on YouTube, saying that this is the time we dig out the rare songs for the crowd, because this is the diehards. This is the people who are willing to drop a substantial amount of coin with travel, except for those who live in Miami, to get on that boat. So I think it's less, I think we've talked about it previously for my KISS Kruise 8 experience, where they basically rehearsed the end of the road set. That I can talk my way around that boring set, in that I love all the songs that they performed, and they may have had the idea, well, here, we're giving you a taste of what the set's going to be on the end of the road, because many of you live far away and we won't be reaching you for quite a while. So here's your sneak peek of it. So I can work it around logically in my head for that. But for this second night, I have difficulty with, especially if I was a paying customer on that who went to night 2 and compared it with night 1, especially with some of those points that we did. However, that said, I think any of the people who went on the cruise and those of us sitting in our armchairs could be happy that the cruise happened. Nothing is still certain, and by all accounts, it went very smoothly. I haven't heard any nightmare stories yet out of it. It seemed that the check-in process and everything was a very stringent and exactly as anyone would hope. And I say it on the show, the second part of this show, at some point we have to start living again and trust, things to work as we hope that they will, because we can't stay in that protected bubble forever. Once you got on the cruise, it was a mask-free zone. Some people opted to continue, depending on their circumstances, and some, most did not. And that's all fine, personal choice and all that. But, we got to live again. We have got to be able to enjoy these things. So I'm hoping that for the next cruise, which Lonnie, they're sailing out of L.A. and
LA,
Ken, for you, what do you guys think of that big change and going to Mexico? Lonnie?
Lonnie?
I put him on the spot and he's frozen.
He's frozen. So I'll take over. So where are they going in Mexico on this? They're leaving out of L.A. Where are they going to Mexico? Do you know?
I didn't pay any attention whatsoever.
I don't know. I don't know if they even.
I think Cabo San Lucas.
Cabo or something. Yeah, it's. I'm very interested now, more than probably I've been, with it being much closer. It's just Southern California. So this time, I may splurge, take the splurge or take the whatever you want to call it, and go for it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And he mentioned something, Paul mentioned something, and I don't know if it means something about any way, but he said something about the KISS Cruise being the last KISS show or something like that. I'm not sure if he let something slip or not, which I would think would be the year after, or like 2023, though in another area he said something about they're going to just keep doing them anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
It's already been kind of broached, kissless cruise,
Still, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think it's a good idea to do it from the other side, the West Coast, and it allows some other different people, that are closer to attend. Or, I'm sure
shorten the Australians' 19-hour flight to 15 hours.
Yeah, so they 4 hours. So, yeah, there'll be something like that. I would expect a lot, some more, some from more Asia or something like that, maybe. But who knows? I think it's about time they tried from some other, area to depart from.
Yeah, so I looked it up. It is Cabo San Lucas and Ensenada, neither of which I'm familiar with, not having been to Mexico. So.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, Lonnie, what's your take on it? You froze up, so welcome back.
Oh, sorry. I think it's great. I think it's fine. They've done 9 of the 10 out of Miami, so they did 1 out of New Orleans. So why not switch it up a little bit and go to the other side of Mexico and Cabo San Lucas? I'm sure the band probably likes it better that they don't have to fly to Miami, that they can basically
roll out of bed and get on a boat,
drive to the port and go. So I'm sure the band is pro that. So I know I think that's great. Try something, and I think the patrons going on the KISS Cruise, well, maybe I get tired of going to Miami every single year.
Right.
Let's go to LA and let's try something a little bit different. It's like chasing the dragon almost, doing the same thing every year.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more KISS-related sites to go and see in Los Angeles. The Hollywood Walk of Fame, or whatever it's called, the studios where they recorded various albums. Go see Gene Simmons' house, which he doesn't live in any longer. Leave Gene's current property alone. And his
About kids, a new one,
yeah. Rainbow Bar and Grill, Sunset.
Yeah, the Roxy, that rock walk right there with the handprints with kisses in there.
Sure.
There's cool things for people to do there, so why not?
It is in California, and hopefully we're not on fire at this time next year. But I think it's a great way to shake it up. Just quickly before we wrap up, some of the other highlights on the cruise were some of the opening bands that had historically opened for KISS previously. So, Black and Blue, of course, Tommy's previous band, or one of his previous bands, opened up in a couple of times, 85, 86. And then Queensryche opened for them in 84. And the other one, God, who is it? Oh, Skid Row's opened for them previously, though, again, Sebastian didn't make the boat. And then, wasn't there a third?
Was Night Ranger one?
Thank you.
Night Ranger. Very
opened
good.
on the Creatures tour.
Bay Area band.
Yeah, so Ken, and the Talisman, who, of course, were Gene Simmons' backing band on his solo tour. So a lot of KISS-related stuff on this in terms of their content. Is there any one of these bands opening that you would have loved to have seen? Lonnie?
I love Night Ranger. I think that would have been fun. And, I'm a decent Queensryche fan too, but Night Ranger above all of them, I think, would be the one that would lure me more than anything.
Nice. Yeah, I like a bit of Queensryche, but I only really know the hits like Jet City Woman and Queensryche, Empire, Silent Lucidity. Ken?
Lucidity,
yeah. I mean, I saw Queensryche open for KISS. I just had to throw that out there. I think that was the where was that one?
You didn't see Night Ranger open for them, did you? Because you got crew.
I did not see Night Ranger open for KISS. So I would have liked to have seen Night Ranger. I love their first album. I pretty much in the second album, some of their stuff they had, but their first album is just, the whole thing is just fantastic. So if they played any of that, I've loved it. I know they're a good band. They've been around a long time, and they're a Bay Area band. I'm surprised I haven't seen them. They've showed up at what do you want to call it, county fairs and things like that recently, and I say, I need to go check them out, but I never make it. So
yeah, I would have loved to have seen Night Ranger. That first album is
fantastic,
absolutely fantastic.
Dawn Patrol,
yeah. So really good band. Queensryche, yeah, I would have gone and seen it. It's not with Jeff Tate, but what's his name, Todd LaTorre. I would have brought him a microphone to help him with his load in. So that's it. That's some viewpoints from the balcony. Let's go back to that question. Which is the best set performed on the cruise out of the ones that we've discussed today? Who wins the cruise, Lonnie?
Bruce Kulick Night 2. Come on now. That's slam dunk.
Slam
dunk.
Lonnie's giving me the look. What are you
sorry? I don't mean to scold you on your own show, Julian.
Not mine, ours. Ken, what about you?
Yeah,
what's the MVP show?
Yeah, it's the Kulick band on the second night. I mean, they could have called this Revenge at Sea or something like that.
Revenge on the Seas.
Pirate themed, and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. I mean, they should have with the amount of songs they played.
Call KISS Kruise 11 that, and I'll go.
So, but yeah, I mean, Kulick set night 2 and KISS's Electric night 1. I like both of them, but yeah, the Kulick pulled out all the stops. So.
Thus the voice of reason speaketh, so I must agree. I'm with the guys on this one. Kulick Night 2 is the winner by far, but A for effort on digging 4 real gems out in that first set, but other than that, it's pretty saccharine. As much as, again, I love all those songs. Yeah. I would have been thrilled with Night 1, but Bruce really wins it. So Bruce, this KISS Kruise 11 or 10, whatever it is, will forever be known as Kulick's Revenge on the Seas cruise. Yeah.
Revenge on the Seas.
All right, that's it. Let us know your thoughts. What were your favorite sets or songs performed? What were the missed opportunities? We haven't discussed that aspect of it. Should Gene have been down with his former backing band to do some songs? Tommy did join Black and Blue for a song, or I think a song, during one of their sets. But again, Gene and Paul could easily have joined the Kulick Boys or the Mob, as they're known, during one of those sets for a song, or is keeping it separate, keep it separated, Offspring? Is that a better thing for it to be kept separate and them to do it the way that they did? So chime in with your thoughts. What did we get right in your opinion? What did we get wrong? But anyway, for now, from Lonnie, from Ken and myself, thanks for listening. Tune into part 2, where I've got a guest from the FAQ message board who was there giving his opinions on his first ever KISS cruise. So for now, from us all, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KISS FAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KISS FAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.